Welcome, everybody, to another episode of 5 Minutes With. I'm your host, Ross Stockdale, owner of Thunderstock Marketing. And today's special guest is Jay Kingley, owner of Maven. Maven offers fractional executives and consultants a 97% done-for-you lead generation, go-to-market, and sales process in a customized one-to-one advisory service. But they only work with the top. They only work with the top 20% of peers in their market. And the clients can expect to make in excess of $500K in annual income when we get them to that level within a year and a half or 15 months. So Jay, tell me, what makes your company unique?
Ross, to my knowledge, we are the only ones who really understand how to differentiate and distinguish our clients from their peers and competitors. Most of the market for fractional executives and consultants suffers from excess supply relative to the demand and the fact that no one can distinguish themselves. They all look the same. We have a deep understanding that the only way when you are selling a professional service that you can differentiate yourself and stand out from the crowd is to infuse your go-to-market, your lead generation, and your sales with the genius of your intellectual property. And it's the IP, or intellectual property, is the key to success.
That is quite unique. You are serving a niche and you're doing it well. Let me ask you, from your own background and experience, when did you realize that you had this unique ability? Is this something you discovered recently, or is this something you were aware of early on in your career?
So actually, pretty early on in my career, I made partner in a multinational consulting firm. And as a partner, one of your key jobs is to bring in new clients. And I looked around to see how everybody else was doing it, and it didn't leave a good taste in my mouth. Most people did the wine and dine and entertain. And I said, that's not really who I am. So I became focused on figuring out how to add value to clients, to give them insights, to give them perspectives that they may not have been aware of, which is basically what intellectual property is, as a way to attract and acquire and retain these clients. And that path turned out to be fabulously successful. Later in my career, I sort of reverse engineered it to understand why it works so well compared to everyone else. And it's really that intellectual property, having insight, if not even a little bit of wisdom, that you can share with your ideal clients.
You touched on something that is related to my next question, which is, what is your biggest pet peeve, or what rubs you the wrong way in the marketplace? You mentioned the whining and dining and that sort of superficial courtship, but could you dig a little bit deeper into what your biggest pet peeve is?
Well, actually, Ross, I have a little bit of a different pet peeve, but it's really about irony. So many fractional executives and consultants at the core depend on their ability to convince their prospects that their prospects would be much better served by hiring them to tackle whatever important, urgent, and valuable problem the client is wrestling with, rather than the client doing it on their own when the client clearly does not have that expertise and insight. And yet, when it comes to their own business, these very same consultants and fractionals will take the most important thing they must do, which is generate revenues, build a solid client pipeline, and say, even though this is something that I know nothing about, I'm going to do it on my own and copy others who are struggling, because the blind lead the blind. And so that, I think, is my number one pet peeve, which is ironic given what they're trying to convince their clients, but yet they don't see how that very same argument applies to them.
Well said. Well said. We're coming to the end of our 5-minute interview. Jay, where could people reach out to you if they want to learn more and solicit your services?
Well, I am always happy to have a conversation. No selling, just let's figure this thing out. The best ways they can reach me, you can certainly send me an email, and that is j.kingley, just my name spelled out, at fractionalmaven.com. Or connect with me on LinkedIn. You can type in my name. There are no other Jay Kingleys on LinkedIn, but my profile address is linkedin.com/in/Kingley, Kingley.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, that's it for today, everyone. This is your host, Ross Stockdale with Thunderstock Marketing, bringing you another insightful 5-minute interview. Please be well and share with a friend.